Check, check, check,
Check, check.
test. Good evening and welcome from the Crossroads here. It is the 7A Eastern Regional Final for softball. DH Conley, the 1 seed, taking on the Heritage Huskies, the 3 seed. Hello, everyone. My name is Cole Martin. Alongside me, the former Conley player and now former ECU player, Anna Sawyer. Anna, how are we doing this evening?
I'm doing good. I'm ready to watch some good softball today.
Absolutely. First pitch about to be thrown by Kendall Howard, the ace for the Vikings. That one's in the dirt. Well, these teams have already played once this year. The Huskies handed the Vikings their only loss of the season. That final score was 7-6 after 9 innings of play. Kendall Howard was on the mound in that one. We'll give you her stats on that game in just a second. That one's fouled back into the cage, 1-1. She went 8 innings in that game, 5 hits, 6 runs, which were all earned, 3 walks, and 19 strikeouts. I mean, just incredible. You don't really see her give up that many runs per game, but you see that high number of strikeouts game in and game out. 1-1 is low, 2 balls and a strike.
Yeah, it seems like Kendall Howard, her main thing is working north and south. For her, it's going to be hitting those spots and getting them to mess up on their own and throwing in some off speed just to offset that.
Well, we asked about the pitch mix, fastball, drop ball, rise ball, and a changeup. That one's lined right back up the middle for a base hit for Janaya Vargas, who is the Queens commit and statistically the best hitter on this team for the Huskies. So a base runner to start the game for the Huskies. Hayden Callahan at the plate now.
Wonder if we're going to drop a bunt here or just hope we can move her over with a hit.
Corners are playing in. She tries the bunt, pops it up. No read there. Man, that definitely could have been played for an out there by Lena Zerfisk. Maybe lost it in the sun there.
We're going to see if she tries to attempt again on a bunt.
Vargas is known to run, has 12 stolen bases on the season. Bunt attempt again. That one's back into the cage, and so too.
Now right here is where Kendall really needs to attack the zone, knowing that she's ahead in the count. You can play around a little bit, throw some junk, or you can just go really hard at her, but we need to make sure we hit the spots right here.
The rise ball at the top of the zone, even just above it, has been so efficient for Kendall Howard this season. We'll see if she goes there. If she does, that one's popped straight up in the air. That's out of play off to the right. Good crowd on hand today from DH Conley. Nice little student section we got over there in the left side bleachers. Was talking with Isaiah Barnes, who's, I'd say, the leader of that pack. I saw him after the game Friday, and he said, "Man, I love this. I'm coming back on Tuesday and doing it again." And he brought himself a little crowd. They've got their rally towels up there. We'll see if they can pull the Vikings through. 1-2, lifted straight up into right field. Caitlin Mendel is under it and makes the grab for out number 1.
You know, with that student section, that energy can just be contagious all day long. So having that on your side is a really big part.
Didn't really get to see that this year with baseball, so it's refreshing to see it here with softball. And it's not just those guys in the stands. I see a couple of students sprinkled throughout the entire field and around the fence. So 1 down, still that runner on first. Here's Sam Langdon. First pitch of hers up and in. Zervis will take a check on Vargas for a moment, but Langdon batting .580 this year as a senior. She and Vargas, both heavy hitters. She is committed to the University of Tampa, top D2 school for all athletics. But how about that OPS number, Anna? 1,500, yeah. I mean 1,800 for Vargas, but they know how to hit the ball.
That's pretty awesome. It looks like she has 4 home runs, but her RBIs are up there, and, you know, that's what counts right there.
A combined 84 RBIs between those two hitters. Impressive numbers from both of them. It is 1 ball, 1 strike to her. We'll see time called. Seeing a couple of wigs out there in the dugout. I was asking about that pregame. Taylor Getzinger told me that one day she just showed up with it during the Easter tournament, and it got contagious. All the girls started wearing them. Kendall Howard was even wearing it during her warm-up this evening in the bullpen. So really cool stuff to see there. Anna, you mentioned that you guys did something with glitter.
Yes, we did fairy hair.
There you go.
So like the tinsel, we put that all in our hair, and somehow that got us all the way to a state championship.
And of course, you were a part of that 2022 state championship run with the win in 3 games over East Forsyth. That one at Duke. That one's lifted straight up in the air and will go back out of play. What was your favorite memory from that? Maybe it's from the whole year in general or from the championship series.
Oh, goodness. I would say, I mean, honestly, that final strikeout, like our senior pitcher, Emma Adams, she threw a changeup to end the game and the girl whiffed, and it was just like, it was finally over, and it was awesome.
Here's the 1-2. Pitch just up high. Man, that was really close. Did you kind of have that realization kind of sink in? You're like, man, we're about to win this game. Was that kind of the feel?
It was close the entire time, and you know, you're nervous. You're like, anything can happen. So I mean, we were literally counting down the outs. I think every inning I was like 9 more, 6 more outs, 3 more outs. So yeah, it was definitely tough, but we pulled it out.
2-2 is grounded straight back to Howard. She won't go to second as Vargas was moving pretty fast, but gets the out at first. There's 2 away in the inning.
getting that out is huge right there. It seems like she's a great hitter on that team, and being able to get her out right there is pretty big.
Anytime you can get someone out that has a bunch of pop at the plate, you got to feel good. Here's another one with a lot of pop at the plate. It's Gianna DeVerna, sophomore, and something that we talked about too is just how young this team is. Of course, Conley is as well. There's a couple of seniors that are really strong for both squads, but other than that, they do have a couple of freshmen and sophomores in the starting rotation. DeVerna batting 446 this year, 4 home runs for her. This Husky squad has 27 home runs on the season. The national average is only 8. 1-0 is up high, 2 balls and no strikes. Two zero, popped back and out of play. 2 balls and 1 strike is now the count. This year, Kendall Howard, I mean, what else can I say? Had back-to-back perfect games between the last regular season game and then the second round of the playoffs. Of course, those weren't complete 7 inning games, but still a 6 inning perfect game in both of those for her. That .65 ERA, man, so good. That one's fouled off to the left, but how about 290 strikeouts, only 520 batter space? That is over half of the batters she has faced. She has struck out. I mean, that is just so impressive.
Yes, and I love watching Howard play because one thing about her is when things start to go bad, you can't see it on her face. When things are great, you don't really see it on her face. And just being able to keep that level of like just consistency and not letting things get too emotional or ahead of herself, I think that's really awesome to watch. It's her just stay under control.
Here's the 2-2. That one's in the dirt. Good block there behind the plate by Zerfus.
Now with Zerfus, you really see the opposite with her. When she truly has so much emotion, you watch her behind the plate, and it's really fun to watch her play. She's a lot of energy, a lot of passion back there, and that's also really fun to watch.
She is the loudest one out there on the field by far, and that's what you need as a catcher is to be loud. 2-2 is a line straight back into left field. Here's the throw from Rose. It is not in time. An RBI base hit for the cleanup hitter, DeVerna. Well, it seemed like Kendall Howard was going to get out of the inning without giving up the run and stranding the runner on second base, but does just the opposite, gives up the base hit there. It is now 1-0 Heritage as we are still in the first inning.
Yeah, that 5-6 hole hit, I mean, that was just hit hard enough to get it through the infield, but also soft enough to where we could get that runner to score right there. So that was just really good placement.
I've seen that a lot in my time out here calling games. I've seen so many base hits in the left field. You got that hard ground ball right through the hole.
Yes, just quick enough to get it out of the infield, but too slow to be able to make a play at home.
1-0 to Ellis is popped back out of play. She's the pitcher today, and she has had a really good run this season as a freshman. We'll tell you about her stats more in the bottom of the inning, but complete dominance from a freshman. How often do you see that nowadays? I mean, that's just crazy.
Yeah, I think with these young teams, you got to learn how to step up even when you're young. I know in college, one of the things we talk about is you're not a freshman anymore once you're here. Like that thought, that freshman mentality is gone. You have to learn how to get past that and just step up.
1-1 finds the zone. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hitting wise this year for Ellis as the freshman, 303 batting average, 23 RBIs. That's big time from her. 20 hits, 6 doubles. That also has a couple of home runs herself and an above 1,000 OPS. That one's fouled back. Just got a piece of that one. We'll see if Kendall Howard can get out of the inning. She leans down for just a second to tie her shoe. Here's the 1-2. Got her looking at the top of the zone. Kendall Howard leaves the damage to a minimum, but Heritage strikes first. It's 1-0 as we head to the bottom of the first. Welcome back. The score is 1-0 after the top half of the first. Couple of base hits for the top of the lineup for Heritage. Just all you need is a ground ball into the outfield to score a run. And that's what they did in the top half of the inning. So Anna Rose, Harper Bradley, and Lena Zerfus here in the bottom of the inning. On the mound is Scarlett Ellis, the freshman this year, a 1.65 ERA as the freshman, 11-2 through 15 appearances, 72 and 2/3 innings pitched. A lot of innings there, but only 124 Ks. That one eats up the second baseman, and Rose reaches safely.
Yeah, I love seeing that lead runner on. 60 feet is so huge in this game. So now we're going to see whether they decide to bunt also.
So already a leadoff base runner for the Vikes. Here's Harper Bradley. Both of the corners playing in, and as you mentioned, maybe a bunt scenario here for the Vikings. Anna Rose and her sister Brooke Rose have incredible speed. 12 stolen bases for Anna, 17 for her sister Brooke. We'll see if the Vikings can respond here in the bottom of the inning. Here's the 2-0. Leaves that one low. It's a 3-ball count.
I was talking to Harper earlier, and this is exactly what she said, that she was going to try to work the count as much as she could. She felt like in the last game, they could have done better with working the counts and having good ABs. And
3-0 is high.
Now, this is a situation where you would really want to bunt right here, but with Zerfus up to bat, with a hitter like that, I'd be hoping for a single or a double right now, even more.
Well, Lena Zerfus has been hot at the plate the entire season. I've only gotten to witness one home run in person, but she put it almost all the way to the fence, way back there behind me here in left field. The 500 hitter she is this year as a senior, leads the team in home runs with 7. Also 32 RBIs and that 1,400 OPS. I mean, it's not just she brings the power, she brings the base hits too, and will get you an easy RBI. Oh, one up high, one ball and one strike. Well, when we got here today, Anna, it was very, very warm, but has cooled off a little bit. The sun's starting to go down behind us, behind the trees. It's been a good breeze today as well, blowing out to right field. That's what it's been most of the season, as that one's fouled off to the right out of play. When you get down to the regional finals, it is a best of three series. So game one is right now. Game two will be tomorrow at Heritage, which I was a little surprised, Anna, when I saw that they would be playing back-to-back days. I figured, you'd have a day of rest in between, but no dice between these two squads.
Yeah, I mean, yes, a day of rest would be great, but whoever wins today, being able to carry over that energy is really big, and not having to sit around and wait and practice, being able to just next day, let's go. So, that can be an advantage and a disadvantage.
2-2, swing and a miss for strike three.
It seems like Ellis really likes to work up in the zone, just like Howard does. I was talking to a few of the Conley girls, and they were saying that Ellis throws a little bit harder, moves up in the zone, and can throw that change up a little bit. So being able to see the ball down and pick one speed is really big for the Conley girls to be able to produce today.
Well, they told us pretty much just a rise ball and a changeup is what she uses. And it's been pretty efficient so far this year. Would you expect her to maybe throw in an additional pitch or two throughout her time in high school, especially next year with just how dominant she's been? Maybe add to some fooling of the bats a little bit over the next year, you think?
Yes, yes. I think if you can get that change of speed just like right there, like that's huge. I think when everything's one speed, it's a lot easier just to zone down and hit strike. But when you throw that mix of speeds and in there, it totally changes the ball game.
Sarah Booth in the box. Here's the 1-1 to her. She lifts that one out in the shallow left field. Vargas is in pursuit over to her right and makes the grab just barely in foul ground. So here's Brooke Rose. She's the designated player today. Caitlin Mendel taking her spot in the field out in right field. She and her sister have both earned starting roles this season as freshmen. Of course, they were on that World Series team that won it all a couple years ago for Winterville. That one's in there for a strike. Not much of a shift here with two outs. Runners on first and second. And there goes Rose. She will swipe there. No, the throw is in time. What a throw down by Keith to get Rose out at third base. The score remains right where it's at, 1-0 as we head to the second right here from the Crossroads. Welcome back. Top half of the second inning. 1-0 is the score. 6, 7, and 8 due up for Heritage. Avery Keith, Lydia Bollinger, and Tori Rudd. First pitch to Keith inside for ball one. Well, a couple of base hits for the Huskies, and well, now we will see a mound visit with Coach Whitehead. What would you think this conversation would be about? I mean, I know that you weren't a pitcher, but
Yeah, a lot
what
of
do you think
times
this would be?
just to calm the nerves down. I'm not sure. I don't know if there's a miscommunication with pitch calling or anything like that, but it could just be to settle her nerves, maybe reset, and yeah, maybe just a new game plan. Who knows?
Well, you'd hope that none of the Vikes would get in their heads too much, considering that Heritage was their only loss of the season. We did talk to a couple of the players before the game, and they said that this is a new game. This is a new day for them, new opportunity for them to go out and win. They haven't seen this team at home, is what Ava Gaddis said, and so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I mean, one of the beautiful things about softball is, you know, the best team doesn't always win, and in this situation, I'm not really sure who the best team is. I think it's pretty tit for tat, but it's whoever shows up that day.
Hmm.
So it's being able to throw your best game and find ways to score some runs.
Well, I've seen it in baseball a lot too. It's any team can win on any given night for both sports. I mean, I've seen it a lot with ECU baseball as an ECU baseball fan. I mean, I've seen them be highly ranked the past couple of seasons and then, just play terrible in the midweek occasionally. And so the same applies for high school. Time is called before the 1-2 offering.
I do love hearing the Conley girls' mentality of just they haven't seen our best yet and just coming in super confident today, knowing that they're going to do their best to give that.
1-2. Foul straight back. Keith is battling at the plate. Well, Heritage took down New Bern the other night to advance to this game. Of course, Heritage 3 seed. Then took down the Bears of New Bern by a score of 7-2, and that was a very tough team for the Vikes to face. Of course, they had to face them twice this season, being in the same conference. 1-2 just high, man. That was a close call. Here's the 2-2. That one's lifted out into center field. Getzinger going back, and she makes the grab for out number one.
One thing I do love seeing about this Heritage team is it seems like they're in attack mode today. Um, they're not really getting super deep in the counts unless obviously it's way up in the zone, but they're not really looking to walk today. They're ready to hit the ball.
Lydia Bollinger at the plate playing first base today. This year as a senior, batting over 400, and pretty much everyone on this stat sheet, Anna, is batting over 300. The only one that's not over 300 is Tori Rudd at 255, and it's just incredible to see a lineup produce these numbers that they have had the entire season. Team average of 435.
That's pretty awesome. Hitting that high of a batting average throughout this whole season is really difficult. We say hitting 300 is pretty awesome. So seeing that high of a batting average in the 400s, like that's pretty awesome.
We have seen the Vikings offense struggle from time to time, which I thought that it was going to be a great year offensively after the 15-0 mercy rule against Apex to start the season. But there have been a couple of games where they've needed Kendall Howard to kind of carry them. They've only put up a couple of runs, which a win is a win, but
Yes.
you'd hope the offense would perform a little bit better from time to time. 0-2, fouled back.
Yes, I always say I'll take a win wherever I can get one. If your team wins, you're 3 for 3 for the day. It doesn't matter what you've done. So I really take wins as much as they come.
Bollinger down 2 strikes in this count, trying to continue the battle against Kendall Howard. Next 0-2, got her looking on the outside corner.
I love seeing her work in that changeup.
Slowed her down, and if it was me in the box, I probably would have been expecting the rise ball at the top of the zone, but then again, I'd probably look like a fool if I stepped into the box and faced her. So now Tori Rudd at the plate. As I already mentioned, that 255 average, but still pretty efficient this season. She takes strike one.
I feel like the game has really shifted. At one point during my career, I felt like slappers were all over the place. Every lefty was a slapper, but I feel like now in softball we really transitioned into home run and power. So I love seeing power, but I also love seeing some small ball game.
Corners creep in again. Now it's fouled back into the cage. And, well, we were talking about this a little bit earlier as well. Pretty much almost every aspect of the game has changed in 4 years. I mean, you mentioned that you were getting recruited by Duke and committed to Duke in your 8th grade season before you even made it to high school. And, of course, those rules have changed. And there's so many showcases and camps and all of this and that. I mean,
Yes,
it's just crazy.
yes, a lot of traveling and a lot of money spent, but well spent.
2 away in the inning. Base paths are empty. 1 ball and 2 strikes is the count to Rudd. She will call time. Here's the 1-2. Leaves it low. Count runs to 2-2.
That's not a bad pitch. I think that's a good spot trying to make her chase right there.
Now, what do you call that technique? Kind of dragging out of the box like that. It's kind of like a drag hit, drag bunt.
Yeah, there it's either slapping or trying to drag bunt somewhere. Up.
2-2. Got her swinging. Put it at the top of the zone, but then a swing and a miss from Rudd for strikeout number 3 of the ball game for Kendall Howard. We'll head to the bottom of the second. 1-0 is the score. Heritage over the Vikes right here on DHC Game Day. 5, 6, and 7 due up for the Vikings here in the home half of the second. Brooke Rose was in the middle of her at bat before she had to go back to the dugout and grab her stuff to come out to the field, as her sister Anna Rose was caught stealing third. Not sure what the talk is here. Home plate umpire Brian Beck is having a chat with the Heritage dugout. Seems like head coach Wayne Deans over there at third base is a little confused too, getting some confirmation from Henry Marshall. Not sure what that was about, but we will play. Ellis back to work, blows that one right by Rose. Well, the shadows are starting to creep over the infield as we still only in the second inning of this ball game. Honestly, I don't know about you, Anna, but it's felt like this game has gone on for a good little bit, even though we are only in the second inning.
Yes, things are moving slow over here.
1-1 up high. Good take there from Rose. Talk about Zerfus being loud. I can hear her all the way from over here in the dugout. Seems like we have a ball over the fence in right field.
Lots of little kids over there.
Needed to see a little bit of a better catch right there from that person in that chair. Here's the 2-1. Fouled back.
Now, the Conley offense today, they're going to have to figure out how to not get caught in between pitches. You know, when you got a changeup and a fastball, and this girl throws a little quicker, Ellis, that you're going to have to pick one and settle on that. So if you're going to have to deal with swinging through a changeup every now and then.
2-2. Just got a piece of it. Seems like that fastball is really working for Ellis so far through these first two frames. I wish that there was a speed gun out here at softball. There is one at baseball. Wish I could see how fast she's throwing. Next 2-2 in the dirt. Kind of rolled it to her. Count runs full. Here's the payoff. Left it upstairs for ball 4. Here's Ava Gaddis, and I tell you what, she struggled for the first half of the season before she got injured on a hit by pitch on her foot. But coming back from injury, man, what a season she has had. 354 average for her, where we saw her average down in the low 200s at one point. That one is skied out into shallow right field. That's going to be trouble. It drops for a base hit. Rose will hold up at second base, but there are 2 runners on base with no outs in the inning. So Ava Gaddis continues her hot hitting. Now ducks on the pond for Kendall Howard. Kendall batting .242 this year as a junior. She shows bunt. There goes the runner. The cover is late, and the tag is not in time. That was a really good effort from Vargas to make her way all the way from shortstop over to third there as DeVerna was pinching in on the bunt. I believe she did not pull back on the bunt attempt, so it was a strike.
I just love that even though the first time they didn't get it done, that didn't quite work out. They're not afraid to be super aggressive today and try it again.
The whole infield is playing in now. DeVerna, the closest one to the plate over there at third base. Howard swings away, and a big swing and a miss. 2 runners in scoring position for her. 16 RBIs on the season. I'm sure she would love to add to that count right here. Here's the 0-2. Leaves it up high. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Right here, all they need is something through the infield, maybe on the right side of the field so they can score that run, or even a sac fly to the outfield would be great right now.
All you need is something in the outfield. Here's the 1-2. She swings and misses, blows it right by her for strike 3. Maybe a little bit of payback there after Howard struck out Ellis in the first inning, got her looking, and so a strikeout swinging there for Kendall Howard. Here's Taylor Getzinger batting 8th today. Still runners on second and third. Only 1 out in the inning. Just swing and miss at that one. Getzinger batting .215 this year. 14 hits. Leaves that one upstairs.
In these situations, a lot of the girls, they'll get freaked out if they swing at a ball over their head. But when I used to play, I really got excited when I did that early on in the count because it meant I was aggressive, and all I have to do is see it down now.
Next pitch inside. Really good effort there from Ellis to try and locate on the inside corner, but hit his ball too. 2-1, just low. These have been some really good takes from Taylor Getzinger in this count. We'll see if she can possibly work the walk here. Here's the 3-1. Lifts that one out into shallow center field. That's going to drop for a base hit. Here comes Rose. Gaddis will be held up at third, and an RBI base knock for Taylor Getzinger.
Yeah, I love that Getzinger right then. Wasn't just looking for a walk, that she was looking to make a big hit there, big swing.
Make it 15 hits on the season for Taylor Getzinger, 7 RBIs now. That was a big-time blue pit out into center field. So Brooke Rose scores there. Ava Gaddis moved up to third base, and Taylor Getzinger is on first. Still only 1 out in the inning. Taylor Ulrich at the plate. There goes Getzinger. The throw is cut off, and it seemed like they were expecting a double steal there as the throw was cut off by Vargas halfway between the circle and second base.
Once again, all we need right here is a sac fly to the outfield.
Similar situation. Both runners in scoring position, 1 out, but attempt back into the cage, man. I tell you what, DeVerna was charging that one really, really hard. Taylor Ulrich will continue her athletic and academic career at PCC next year. Just one of a couple of different recruits on this Viking squad. Seeing a lot of talent between both ball clubs here today. A couple of D1 prospects, a couple of JUCO. Here's the 2-1, leaves that one inside. We will see Keith come out to the mound and have a chat with Ellis. We'll see how they try and execute this. I mean, you wouldn't really want to put her on first base. Of course, you have first base open, but that means the lineup turns back over to the top with bases loaded, only 1 out in the inning. Ulrich batting .220 this year as a senior. 13 hits, only 1 of those for extra bases.
The only advantage to having her on first base right now would be being able to have a forced play at home or at any base. But once again, having the top of the lineup.
That one is low and inside for ball 4. The bases are now loaded as the lineup turns over for Anna Rose. And we will now see a mound meeting. We will take a short pause. The Vikings are threatening here after they have tied it up. It's 1 apiece here on DHC Game Day. Well, the meeting in the circle is done. We are seeing a little bit of bullpen activity for the Huskies. Avery Garrett starting to get up and warm. She's another freshman on the squad, but all three pitchers that have recorded stats and appearances this season are all sub 2 ERA. Of course, team ERA is a 1.71. National average is a 7.06.
Yeah, having a pitching staff in high school is huge. You don't really see that very often. You kind of have one standout girl and then some girls who can come in and close it or come in for relief. But having three girls on staff is huge.
A true rotation is hard to come by in both high school baseball and softball. Here's the 1-1 to Rose. She pops that one off to the right out of play. Well, Ellis threw 7 innings in that first matchup against the Vikings earlier this season, went 6 hits, 4 runs. All of them were earned. Gave up a solo home run to Sarah Booth, had 10 strikeouts. Next pitch is low for ball 2. Here's the 2-2 to Anna Rose. Checks her swing. She did not go around, says Chris Corsi. Regardless of the swing, that was a very close pitch, very close to the bottom of the zone. Bases loaded, 1 out. Here's the payoff to Rose. Got her swinging. Well, this is the moment to capitalize for the Vikings. You have bases loaded. Even though there are 2 outs in the inning, you've already put up 1 in the second. But against this pitching staff, as we mentioned, you would want to get as many runs as humanly possible wherever you can get them.
Bradley's been in these situations before. I'm hoping she can find a way to pull it out.
She's batting .366 this year as a junior. She has been so consistent for a base hit a game. She has bases loaded in this scenario. Next one is up high, way up high. She had a 30-hit season this year and 10 RBIs. We'll see if she can add to that total here. 1-1. Fouls it back. Conley wearing those navy blue pinstripes today. Heritage in the blue jersey and the gray pants. Here's the 1-2. Push that one off to the right. Did you have a favorite uniform color or combo?
We didn't wear any of these. They got cool uniforms the year after we left. But my senior year, we got these all black uniforms, and I think we wore them every single home game. We were determined to never wear the old ones again.
Next 1-2 is fouled back. Did you guys have that superstitious feel where, once you won that first game in the playoffs, you just kept wearing them throughout the entire playoffs when you won the state championship?
Yes, 100%. We were super, super, super superstitious, and anything that worked, we were keeping it rolling.
Next 1-2. That one's up high.
I love seeing Bradley work a count right here, knowing that that was her game plan at the beginning of the game and sticking to it.
She was down 0-2. It's now even at 2-2. She continues to battle as she fouls that one off. This has been a very long second inning. Nothing for the Huskies in the top of the inning, but already 1 run has come across the score. Bases are loaded with 2 outs for the Vikes. That one's inside. The count runs full.
That is a great take. Anything inside is always kind of scary because you don't have much wiggle room there for balls and strikes. So being able to lay off that pitch is huge.
This is a big-time pitch. Nowhere to put Bradley on the base paths. Here's the payoff. Lifts that one out into center field. That's going to fall for a base hit. Gaddis scores, and so does Getzinger. The Vikes have the lead. It's 3-1.
Once again, I love that fight at the plate. I love it. I love her working that count and making her throw a pitch in the zone.
Textbook at bat right there. You work the long AB, get the pitch count up, and then get the 2 RBI base knock. Ava Gaddis and Taylor Getzinger come around to score on that one. Taylor Ulrich is on second with Bradley on first. Still 2 outs in the inning, but here is Lena Zerfus. That one up high, but called a strike.
Put him on around, baby. Now what 5 you got here?
0-1 leaves that one. It's 1 ball and 1 strike.
You know, in this position for Zerfus right now, you know, Bradley already scored the 2 runs right there. So being able to have that, just that stress taken off of you, and Zerfus can just do what she does best, and that's attacking pitches. I feel like she's in a good spot right now.
Got this one, 5.
Well, she's in a hitter's count here, 2 balls and 1 strike. Next pitch, ooh, man, that was a big-time cut. She fouls that one back into the cage. Here's the 2-2. Leaves that one well in the dirt. Ellis is in danger of walking the bases loaded. You have the cleanup hitter, Sarah Booth, in the on-deck circle. Here's the payoff. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Changed up on the speed there and got her to swing and miss. 2 strikeouts for Lena Zerfus, but the Vikes strike 3 times and take the lead here in the second. It's 3-1 Vikes over Huskies as we head to the third right here on DHC Game Day. Welcome back. 3-1 is the score. Vikes take the lead in the second over the Huskies. Couple of base hits. Big-time base knock from Harper Bradley. She gets 2 RBIs on her base hit. We'll see if the Vikes can hold on from here. That was a pretty slow 2 innings. We have mentioned it multiple times, Anna. And now here we are in the third inning as the lineup will turn over in this one. 9-1-2 for the Huskies.
Nice pitch, eh?
We have third base pulling in really tight over here. Seems like we're expecting a bunt.
Swing and a miss. Big-time cut there. It's 0-2. Harmoning as a senior this year, batting .367, 22 hits, and 25 runs. A couple of extra base knocks for her as well. Pitch up high, and they say that she went around on the check swing. It's strike three. Make it strikeout number 4 of the ball game now for Kendall Howard, and we'll see if she starts to catch that groove. Once she gets going, man, it is hard to stop her. The lineup has turned over. Here's Janaya Vargas. Has a base hit through the right side. She is 2 for 2 today. Committed to Queens University in Charlotte, man. I tell you what, I was really excited to watch her play today. 10 home runs on the season, and we were talking about this earlier. She kind of has a little bit of a smaller frame, but man, she can pack a punch.
Yeah, yeah, I love just seeing someone who attacks so hard. It seems like she's never looking for a walk. She's looking to do damage.
First pitch to Callahan is fouled back, so one away in the inning, a runner on first. We'll see how Kendall Howard fares the second time through this lineup. Has already given up that one base hit. Callahan 0 for 1 today with a flyout. Next pitch lifted straight up into left center field. Rose is over to her left and makes the grab for out number 2. Sam Langdon steps into the box now. She grounded out to Kendall Howard in the first inning. She and Vargas very similar numbers-wise this season. That one is grounded to Ulrich. That's going to be a fair ball. The throw over to Sarah Booth is in time for out number 3. One strikeout in the inning for Kendall Howard. Doesn't give up a run in this inning, but one hit. The score remains right where it's at, 3-1 for the Vikes over the Huskies as we head to the bottom of the inning. Four, 5, and 6 2 up for the Vikings here in the home half of the third inning. Sarah Booth, Brooke Rose, and Ava Gaddis. Ellis will remain in the game as Avery Garrett is not warming up down there in the pen at the moment. They're getting her warm in case things started to go south big time. 3 runs in the bottom half of the second for the Vikings offense. We'll see if they continue that here in the third. 1-0 is grounded to third base. DeVerna is up with it and throws it over to Bollinger in time. Man, it seemed like that was going to be a base hit into left field, but a good play there by DeVerna to get the out.
Yes, that was a great play by the third baseman right there. I honestly thought that was going to get through also.
It seemed like it was hit hard off the bat, but maybe a little bit more of a slower roll. Either way, here is Brooke Rose with one away. She worked the walk and gets the base hit right there into center field. One out base hit for Brooke Rose. Here's Ava Gaddis, who also had a base hit her first time up.
I love to see the energy in the DH Conley dugout right now. It seems like they're getting a little bit more life over there.
First pitch to Gaddis is lifted out into shallow center field. That's going to drop for a base hit. But she is out at second. Man, heads up play there by Langdon out in center field. Brooke Rose was a little hesitant to run there, assuming that the catch was going to be made. But the force play works at second base for the Huskies.
Yeah, those situations are tough, knowing exactly what to do and whether they're going to catch it or have to tag up.
A rare 8-6 force out play. Now 2 away. Here's Kendall Howard. Big swing and a miss there. Oh, one is upstairs. There goes Gaddis. She will swipe second. Ball starts to get away. There goes Gaddis. She's on her way to third. No throw from Vargas. And now a runner on third base with 2 outs. I am loving the energy up there in the stands from our little student section. They are bringing the energy, as you mentioned, the energy from the dugout, the energy from the crowd has been really good through the first 3 innings.
Did we have a little bit of a collision right there?
I'm
Seemed
not
like
totally
her
sure.
face mask got knocked off.
Lee Janetti, the head coach for Heritage, came out of the dugout, had a chat with Vargas at short. I'm not sure what that conversation was about. When she makes her way back to the dugout, we will resume play. 2 outs in the inning. 1-1 is the count. But Ava Gaddis over there at third base. Can Kendall Howard score her home? 1-1 check swing fouled into the Conley dugout.
Gaddis getting over to third right here is huge. All we need is a single right here, not having to do too much, no extra base hits or home runs, which that would always be nice, but being able to just get a nice single.
Most of the base hits have come into center field, and we'll see what the defensive arrangement looks like once the infielders take their position. But there is a sizable gap between Rudd and Vargas, between second and shortstop, right over there across the middle.
Yeah, it seems like everybody's playing pretty straight up. There isn't much of a shift going
Big
on.
time swing and a miss for strike 3. I'm sorry I just cut you off there, Anna, but that will end the inning as Ellis strands the runner on third base. Score remains right where it's at. It's 3-1 after 3. Welcome back. 3-1 is the score from the Crossroads. Cole Martin and Anna Sawyer with you this evening. It is the Eastern Region Final for the 7 A classification for the state of North Carolina softball.
Go, Kendall!
Conley, the 1 seed, taking on Heritage, the 3 seed. Conley beat Wake Forest to get here by a score of 10-3, and Heritage took down the 2 seed at New Bern by a score of 7-2. Heritage became Conley's only loss of the season. Right in the middle of the season, it was actually. That game went to 9 innings. Final score was 7-6. That one's blasted into center field. And that one's going to one hop off the wall. And DeVerna is in there with a stand-up leadoff double.
Wow, lots of power there. I really thought that one might leave the yard, but ends up hitting the warning track.
A single and a double for DeVerna. She's halfway to the cycle. And here is Scarlett Ellis. That one did have some good ride. If she had gotten just a little bit earlier on that ball, I feel like that probably would have left the yard over here where we are. But either way, it is a stand-up double for DeVerna.
We were talking about earlier how big the field is here, and I'm pretty sure it's a true 220 in center field and 200 on the foul line. So
And you
she
did
went the
mention
furthest part.
that is pretty much what it is at ECU, if I'm
Yes.
correct.
Yes. So she chose the longest part of the field, which is often what I tend to do.
I've seen you go backside a couple of times as well.
Yeah. Oh, very few times.
Big swing and a miss there from Ellis. It is now 0-2.
Howard's in a position now where she needs to really hit her spots and make sure she's not leaving anything.
0-2. Change up, grounded into left field for a base knock. Well, it seemed like Scarlett Ellis was out in front of that one, but made just enough contact to put that one through that 5-6 gap into left field. The Huskies are threatening here in the third. We will see the first pinch runner of the game. Allie Buchanan will go run the bases for Ellis. Here is Avery Keith. She represents the go-ahead run in this plate appearance.
With no outs right now, I wonder if we're going to try to run a play right here, maybe get in a pickle or steal, or if we're just going to let her hit right here.
Well, we're seeing all of the umpires come together to have a meeting. It seemed like Brian Beck, our home plate umpire, pulled some kind of notepad out of his pocket. I don't know what that conversation was about. We've had that a couple of moments here in this one. They've had some meetings, not sure what's going on there.
Seems like right there he might have pulled out the lineup, maybe making sure they're all on the same page with substitutions and all that.
Of course, at the high school level, you can pinch run and it won't cost you. They can come back out of the game. That goes for softball and baseball. So runners on the corners, no outs. Avery Keith at the plate. She flew out to Taylor Getzinger her first time up. Keith has a pair of home runs herself this year, batting .422 as a freshman. 1-0 will find the zone. It seemed like Buchanan was ready to run there, but Zerfus keeps her back.
Okay, no!
1-1 up high. It's 2-1. Well, both teams finished first in their respective conferences. Perfect records at that. 10-0 for the Huskies as they finished first in the Northern 6 Conference and 10-0 for the Vikes as they finished first in the Big Carolina Conference. This was a tough year for the Vikes. Couple of good teams in the conference. No throwdown there as Buchanan swipes second. Of course, New Bern had a very, very strong team this year. That was a very tough test for the Vikes. Of course, J.H. Rose, they're hosting the Eastern Region Finals for 6A right now. They had a good season as well. South Central had a couple of battles against Conley as well. 2-2, foul back. Well, I wasn't really able to see the stats in Max Preps, but did you guys typically run the table across the board your 4 years here at Conley?
Yeah, pretty much. I would say we were really strong in our conference, and we had some
And a
stumbles when we
big
got
swing and a
into
miss for strike
playoffs.
three.
But I think my freshman year we made it to Eastern Regionals and we fell short. But I think COVID got us the next year, so we lost that season, and then sadly, my junior year we lost in the second round due to COVID messing everything up. All the seating was off. I can blame it on that, but but my senior year we finally got it done. I would say in those other seasons too, we started off undefeated, which is great confidence wise, but sometimes you need to be able to battle adversity and, figure out how to,
Go, Kendall!
when you lose, never wanting to feel that again. So it might be nice for the Vikings that they do only have one loss under their belts.
And what an opportunity to finish off your high school career winning a state championship. There's four seniors this year. That'd be a fantastic moment for them to cap off their careers here at Conley with a ring.
Yes, there's truly no better feeling. Me and Trinity Nichols,
Hmm.
we actually ended up playing at ECU together, but we constantly talk about that college was great and all, but winning a state championship in high school was honestly the most memorable and coolest things I've ever done.
Surprised you didn't wear your ring out here
I know I
today.
should have. I should have.
To a big swing and a miss there. We have seen, I believe that is Braylon Johnson. Sorry, no, Madison Anderson that has run down there to the bullpen. She is warming up quick. I believe that is Casey Mendel. That is her throwing partner. 2-1, big swing and a miss again.
You got this, Kendall!
And now two pitchers are now in the Conley bullpen as Monica Jones has gone down there as well. One out in the inning, runners on second and third. Here's the 2-2. Lifted that one off to the left. That's out of play. Bollinger struck out looking her first time up. Howard's looking to get the punch out again in this one.
That would be huge right now with runners on second and third. That's what they need right now.
Here's another 2-2. That one is floated into shallow center field. That's going to actually hit the dirt and fall for a base hit. DeVerna came around to score there. No advance from Ellis at second. Man, that was a tough play there. A tough base hit to give up. That was very weak contact and didn't even make it out of the infield.
It seems like we've had a few of those today, but as a hitter, you got to take what you can get, and those little bloops even out with the hard stuff.
All right, then, Phil, get you on now. He's fine.
Well, the lead is cut in half now for the Vikings. 3-2 is the score. Only one out in the inning, and we're seeing that slap method from Rudd again. One away in the inning here in the fourth. Seemed like a drag butt attempt that time, and she pulls back.
Now back to the last play, the girl running on second base. It's huge for the Vikings that she didn't advance at third. I'm not exactly sure what happened. I think there was a little bit of confusion there on what to do, but that's huge not having a girl on third base right now, and that potentially would be the tying run.
Taylor Ulrich is playing in over there at third. Fouled ball. It is 1-2.
Go, eight, win it.
Seems like we're having some scoreboard malfunctions behind us. We're trying to keep the score up to date here on our score bug. It's 3-2. One out. Runners on first and second. That one is lifted out into right field. Caitlin Mendel is coming in a couple steps and makes the grab. No tag from Buchanan at second.
Job, Caitlin.
Once again, right there, if number 7 was standing on third base right now, that potentially would be a sac fly and a run scored.
The two away in the inning. Here's the 9-hole batter, Rebecca Harmoning. Her first time up, struck out swinging. That started the third inning. Good RBI opportunity here, and she does just that. A base hit down the right field line. Buchanan comes around to score, and Bollinger is up to third.
Heads up, ladies. Pick your heads up now.
Big time base knock there. Just stayed fair down the right field line. The ball game is back tied. And now we are seeing an intentional walk on Janiyah Vargas. I mean, I don't blame head coach Wayne Deans in this scenario. Even though the bases are loaded, I mean, she is a top hitter.
Yes, I think that's actually smart coming from Coach Deans today. You know, you have a force play anywhere, so anywhere in the infield, we can throw it wherever, make a play at home, whatever works.
The bases are loaded. Here is Hayden Callahan. 2 outs in the inning. This is a big spot for both squads. First pitch fouled back.
Man, this is such a fun game to watch. I think a lot of the times in softball, it's such a pitcher's game, and today it's truly offense.
Going at a similar pace as we did in the first matchup in the regular season between the Huskies and the Vikings. We'll see how much more offense we see in this one. That one's up high. It's 1-1. Well, we talked about how, Kendall Howard can throw the ball for days and can perform like crazy, but you need the offensive production to match it. And so far in this game, the Vikings have done just that. The game's tied. 1-1 up high. It's 2-1. Well, in this scenario, you've got to locate, you've got to try and get a strike. You wouldn't want to fall behind 3-1 here. Here's the 2-1. Fouled back out of play, and they have had a lot of foul balls in this game. Now at ECU, correct me if I'm wrong here, there is like a little tube feeder system. If you get a foul ball, you put it through this little tube.
Yes,
It
we need
drops
one
down.
of those right here.
Doesn't it drop into the dugout?
Yes.
I believe, yes.
We definitely need one of those right here.
This is a big pitch coming up. Here's the 2-2. Oh, at the top of the zone, the count runs full. What a take in that scenario right there by Callahan. Bases loaded. The score is tied at 3 apiece here in the fourth. Here's the 3-2. That one is softly lined. That is foul. Count remains full. I'll tell you what, the past couple of games that I've called, my nerves have been through the roof for baseball, and this is just another one of those moments where my nerves are through the roof. Big time spot for Kendall Howard. Bases loaded. Here's the payoff. Leaves it off the plate for ball four. Very, very close pitch there. What a take there by Callahan.
Man, Howard just in a tough situation. You know, you never want to walk a batter in, but at the same time, a big hit right there, there's more runs with that.
Already a three spot in this inning for the Huskies. The bases remain loaded after that walk. Here is Sam Langdon. 0 for 2 today with a couple of ground outs. This is the third time through the lineup for the Huskies, and so they've seen Kendall Howard a couple of times now up to this point. We'll see if any adjustments are being made. First pitch to her is fouled back.
Go, Kendo!
Man, I see a lot of pink going on right now between Zerfus with the pink arm sleeve, and then right now the batter up with hot pink batting gloves and a hot pink grip.
Big swing and a miss there. It's 0-2.
Nice pitch, Kendo!
I personally like the pink edition. If I were playing baseball today, I'd probably have some pink accessories.
Yeah, it takes me back to my T-ball days when everything you had was hot pink.
Here's the 0-2. Up and away. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Win it, 8, you got this!
Big spot. The Huskies have taken the lead here in the fourth with a 3-spot fourth inning. They're up 4-3. Bases are loaded. 2 outs. Here's the 1-2. A base hit into right field. That scores 1 run. Here comes the second runner, and she is safe. The throw is wild, and here comes a third runner. Well, it seemed like a base hit was coming for Sam Langdon. 0 for 2 up to this point, but man, the stats just suggested big time that she was going to have a base hit sometime or another. She delivers right there with the 2 RBI base knock going the other way into right field. We're seeing a meeting with Coach Deans and Kendall Howard. No movement in the bullpen at the current moment. The energy and momentum has completely shifted here into Heritage. Heritage's favor. 6 runs here in the fourth for them. We saw this in the first game. They had a good game hitting wise against Kendall Howard, and they are certainly doing that right here. Twice in this inning, Kendall Howard has been down to the final strike of the inning and could have gotten out of it, but some really clutch hitting from this Huskies lineup. So the lineup turns over. Here is Gianna DeVerna. She led off the inning with a double over the head of Taylor Getzinger in center field.
Go, 8, you got this!
1-0 foul tip back into the glove of Lena Zerfus. Well, there are only two Huskies players without a base hit in this ball game. The other seven all have recorded at least one base hit. One is ripped out into center field. Gets here, comes in a couple of steps, and moves back as the ball goes all the way to the wall. The run scores, and so make it two doubles in the inning for Gianna DeVerna. When it rains, it pours, and there have been plenty of base hits and plenty of run scores here in the fourth for the Huskies. 7 runs in the fourth, and Kendall Howard's day is done. We will tell you about her final line as well as the new pitcher in just a moment right here on DHC Game Day. Welcome back. A big time inning already for the Heritage Huskies. A 7 spot here in the fourth. A very rare off day for Kendall Howard. She goes 3 2/3. 9 hits. She has given up all 8 runs. All of them earned, that is. Her line does not completely close as she is responsible for the runner on second. 1 walk and 5 strikeouts for her. Replacing her is the sophomore Monica Jones, who only has 1 appearance on the season. She threw multiple times last year, even though last year was once again mostly Kendall Howard eating up the innings.
I think it's smart here to bring Jones in just because, you don't want to let these players see Howard too much, the Husky offense. You don't want to let them see her too much because I would assume she would start tomorrow.
You
So
do want to save her, yes. That's a good point to make. You won't, you're, especially playing back-to-back days, you would want to save her for tomorrow. Of course, playing on the road is very difficult. The Vikes lost on the road against this team, and so that brings up a very good point, saving Howard. Scarlett Ellis in the box. She is 1 for 2 tonight, a strikeout looking and a base hit, which was in this inning. 2-1 is in the dirt. Gianna DeVerna standing on second base, a 3-hit ball game for her, 2 of them coming in this inning alone. Both of them were doubles into center field. Already 6 hits in the inning and 7 runs scored for the Huskies. That one is popped straight up in the air. That's going to stay in play. Zerfus has a beat on it and cannot make the catch. It feels as though the frustration is starting to mount for the Vikings. Even though you're down here in the fourth, you just got to clear your mind. Forget all of it happened. Just think of it as a 0-0 ball game.
yes, that's something you talk about all the time in softball. Half of the game is mental, so finding a way to reset and it's opening day every single time.
Payoff is off the plate for ball 4. We'll see a pinch runner again for Ellis as Buchanan will run the bases for her.
Go, 9. Got this, 9.
Avery Keith steps into the box. She's 0 for 2 today. A fly out and a strikeout swinging. First pitch to her in there for a strike. That one is lifted into shallow right field. That one's going to go foul. We've seen a lot of 2-out rallying here in the inning for the Huskies. There are still runners on first and second. They are still looking to do more damage. 1-1. Good change up there. Gets the swing and miss. Actually, that was strike 3. And they get out of the inning, but the Huskies put up 7 in the 4th. They lead it 8-3. Well, a huge 4th inning for the Huskies, a 7 spot as they have the lead 8-3. Next pitch is in there for a strike. One big swing and a miss there. Seeing some more activity again for the Huskies. Avery Garrett back up and warming up. This could potentially be Ellis's last inning. We'll see if she can get the clean inning. Next pitch, fouled back. Quality ABs is all you need. Just need to have that pass the line mentality. Next girl up. Here's the 1-2. That one's chopped shallow right field, and the catch is made out in right field by Harmoning. Taylor Ulrich at the plate. She walked her first time up.
Go 2-5.
Anna Rose in the on deck circle. We'd love to see Ulrich get on base again. Of course, she was a part of that 3-run second inning for the Vikings. You would love to have a runner on base with the lineup turning over. 1-0 in there for a strike.
Yeah, the Vikings right here. I feel like they just have to find a way to make something happen. I feel like a lot of times in games like this, you're sitting around waiting for something to happen instead of making it happen.
1-1 fouled back.
Go 2-5.
One out in the inning. Here's the 1-2 to Ulrich. Foul back again. She's battling. Here's another 1-2. Leaves it low. The Vikings dugout just trying to spur on each batter that comes to the plate for their squad. They're down by 5 here in the fourth. See if the offense can get going in this one. Another really good take there by Ulrich. The count runs full.
Battle, girl, you got this. Woohoo!
Here's the payoff. Throws her at the bottom of the zone for strike 3.
Man, that was a great pitch by Ellis. I feel like that's a tough ball to see, a tough ball to hit at the plate, you know. Leaving that in the umpire's hands is pretty tough.
That call probably could have gone either way, but right there at the knees, tough call to dispute there. And strike 3 on Ulrich, so the lineup has now turned over for the 3rd time for the Vikings. Here is Anna Rose. Rose 0 for 2, reached on an error her first time up, then strike out swinging in the second. She'll foul that one back. It is no balls and 2 strikes to her.
Go 7.
1-2 left up high.
It seems like Ellis's zone has really changed her approach. It seems like she's really trying to hit that outside corner more instead of trying to jam them in because I feel like that's where a lot of their hits have come from is being able to push some of those inside pitches in the gap.
1-2 is low. 2 balls and 2 strikes is now the count. Yes, we did see a couple of pitches in the second and third innings where she left that just slightly inside, and it seemed like it probably could have been called a strike, but it was called a ball. Really good placement on most of these pitches. 2-2 is up, and the count runs full again. This is something that Harper Bradley mentioned to us pregame was that they noticed that Ellis worked a lot of full counts against New Bern last week, and this is just another example of that in this one. Payoff upstairs for ball 4. We'll see if the Vikings can get some 2-out rallying for themselves. We'll see if Harper Bradley can get on base herself or possibly even score Rose home. A base hit into the gap here would probably score Rose, just considering her speed. A 1 up high.
Good eye, two.
Another good take there from Harper Bradley. She's in a hitter's count, 2 balls and 1 strike.
Go up.
2-1. Chopped slowly to Rudd at second, and she makes the flip over to Bollinger at first in time for out number 3. Just one base runner for the Vikings here in the 4th, but no runs. Score remains right where it's at, 8-3 as we head to the 5th.
Okay, defense, respect the ball now.
5th inning about to get underway from the crossroads. 8-3 is the score here in the 7A East Regional Final, Game 1. Game 2 will be tomorrow at Heritage High School. If this result holds here, Heritage in prime position to take this series after 2 games with that home field advantage. Monica Jones is out there in relief of Kendall Howard. There's a base hit into right field for Lydia Bollinger. She too has 2 hits in this ball game. We run at the plate. She lays down the drag bunt. That is a perfect bunt, and she is safe at first. The tag at second is not in time as the slide back in is safe. That drag bunt was placed to perfection there for Tori Rudd. And a quick 2 base runners here in the 5th.
No, that was a perfect spot to lay down that bunt. You know, you always kind of want to lead it more towards first base side, hoping that the pitcher will pick it up, and that's exactly what happened.
Rebecca Harmoning at the dish had a single in the 4th inning, but strikeout in the 3rd. No outs in the inning. Runners on first and second. So leaves that one, and that one finds the inside corner for a strike.
Shot 9. Way to battle, 9.
Next pitch off the plate. Good take there for Harmoning.
Go, Monica.
Harmoning batting 367, even though she is the 9-hole spot. There isn't a bad hitter in this lineup. That one's fouled back. It's 2-2.
Win it.
This would be a big time out number one for Monica Jones. Maybe help boost the confidence just a little bit out there. And that one's in the dirt. Good block there from Lena Surface. The count is full.
Monica.
Here's the payoff. Leaves it low. The bases are now loaded. The lineup flips over. This is now the fourth time through for the Huskies. There is nowhere to put Vargas, so no intentional walk here. But man, this is such a dangerous, dangerous spot. Up 8-3 in the fifth. No outs. Bases loaded. The best hitter is at the plate for Heritage. First pitch is grounded into left field for a base knock. One run scores. They'll play station to station. A three-hit ball game for Janaya Vargas. All of them singles. She picks up her first RBI of the ball game. Heritage now leads 9-3, and they could still pile it on even more here in this inning as the bases are still loaded with no outs. Entire infield is playing a little in. You've got to be careful. We saw this in the last inning where you saw that bloop single by Bollinger that didn't even make it out of the infield, landed behind the second base bag, which scored a run. That one's grounded fair down the third base line. One run scores, and now two runs score on the RBI base knock for Hayden Callahan.
Man, Heritage is just finding all the holes today. They are just truly attacking the zone.
There isn't a single gap in the infield they have not hit through. Seen it down the right field line, down the left field line, through the 5-6 gap, through the 3-4 gap, right back up the middle. Seen a couple of extra base knocks. They have hit the full spray chart here today.
You know, and a lot of times in these games where the score is such a big difference, you would think there's a lot of walks and a lot of errors, but really they're just finding the holes.
Heritage now leads 11-3. The damage is still pouring on. Really good snag there out in left field by Anna Rose. Wow. We've seen her defense on display a couple of times throughout this season. There is another great example of how she is as a left fielder. That definitely saved a base hit there and probably the 12th run of the ball game for the Huskies. Gianna DeVerna at the plate now. She's 3 for 3 today. A single and two doubles. Both of those doubles came in the fourth inning. Still only one out in the inning. Runners on first and second. That one's fouled back.
Man, it just seems like she is really seeing the ball tonight. The extra base hits are so crucial. You know, having that power. I feel like they've had a lot of singles today, but those doubles, they're huge.
Bunt attempt to Jones back on the mound. She flips it over to Bradley covering at first for out number 2.
That is a great out for the Vikings.
So that's the second out of the inning. And now runners on second and third. Here's Scarlett Ellis, who was 1 for 2 today. A strikeout looking, a single, and a walk. She will foul that one back. Super aggressive approach from all of the hitters in this Heritage lineup so far today. There have not been too many at-bats where they haven't swung at the first pitch. Next pitch, really good change up there.
Wow.
Swing and a miss from Ellis.
That is a beautiful changeup.
A 3 spot here in the fifth for the Huskies after putting up 7 in the fourth. They're up 11-3. We'll see if Jones can get out of the inning, and she will. Another changeup got her swinging for out number 3. Well, Heritage extends their lead here in the fifth. We'll head to the bottom of the inning right here on DHC Game Day. Well, Scarlett Ellis's day is done in the circle. Replacing her is Avery Garrett, who also has a sub-2 ERA. She is also a freshman, 1.75 ERA, 6-0 through 13 appearances, and 57 Ks through 43 innings of work. Lena Zerfis leads off the inning for the Vikes, 3, 4, and 5. They will go here in the home half of the fifth. First pitch to Zerfis is inside for ball 1. Next pitch in there for a strike.
Surface is over right now, 0 for 2 with 2 Ks. And, in these situations, we talk a lot of, oh,
That's going to hit her, and so she will take her base.
but we talk a lot about in those situations, when you are 0 for 2, 0 for 3, what you're going to do in that final at bat.
We'll see if the Vikings can get things going with the leadoff base runner. Here is Sarah Booth. Scarlett Ellis's final line, 4 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, all of them earned. 4 walks and 5 strikeouts for her. They'll take a look at Zerfis over at first. No throw, no run. Well, Sarah Booth is an experienced hitter. She has been in these situations before, even as a junior. batting .289 this year with 23 RBIs. Just want to keep the line moving. Want at least a base hit. That one's crushed down the left field line. That's foul into the visitors' bullpen. I want to see swings like that. That making good contact there, but of course putting it in play.
Maybe with seeing a new arm right here, maybe the Vikings can kind of catch some success.
0-2 is ripped the other way down the right field line. That one's going to go towards the corner. Here comes Zerfis. She is on her way to third, and she is in there, standing up. Maybe the Vikes can get something going now. Couple runners on, no outs. Brooke Rose at the dish. She's 1 for 1 today. A walk and a single. The Vikes are down 8 runs here in the 5th. So maybe a little bit of an energy and momentum shift just slightly. Runners on the corners. First pitch to Rose is in there for a strike. A 1 is crushed into the gap into left center field. That one's going to fall for a base hit. Rolls all the way to the wall. Surface scores. Sarah Booth is on her way to third. She is in there. And how about Brooke Rose with a stand-up RBI double?
And she got all of that ball. I mean, that ball was hit perfectly in the gap.
That was a really, really good effort there by Callahan out there in left field to range over, dove out to try and make the grab, couldn't quite come up with it, and it falls for a base hit. And so now the score is 11-4. Seems we are having a meeting in the circle and change probably not being made. The next one up probably will be Lydia Bollinger. Only 3 pitchers for the Huskies this season. At least 3 of them have recorded stats this season. Still no outs in the inning. Runners on second and third. It's been a very interesting ball game up to this point. Didn't expect the offensive explosion from the Huskies. I knew that, coming into this game, a very good team hitting wise, over 400 as for the team batting average, but facing an elite arm like Kendall Howard, I feel like there was only so much they could do, but they have done really, really well, putting up 11 runs through 5 innings.
Seems like their energy has just been contagious. You've heard their dugout be so loud all day, and it seems like the Vikings have been pretty quiet up until this point.
First pitch to Ava Gaddis is low for ball 1. One zero in the dirt. 2 balls and no strikes is the count to the senior Ava Gaddis. Two zero finds the zone for a strike. Now, Anna, I will ask you this. I don't know this rule. You probably would know this. Is there a pitch limit? How does the rest work with high school softball? There's rules in baseball, but of course, it might be a little different in softball.
There is no rules that I know of for a pitch count. I know with pitching underhand like that, it's a whole different ball game compared to baseball. You can go as many days, as many pitches as possible.
That's something my dad and I talked about a lot. Is that's such a more natural throwing position is to go underhand rather than overhand.
Yes.
So therefore, meaning maybe some extra pitches. Now a hang up here. That one was grounded to Vargas. A slide is she is safe at third base. Wow. A chance for Heritage to get the runner at third, Booth, but she slides back into third safely. The bases are loaded. First pitch to Monica Jones is in there for a strike. No outs in the inning. The bases are loaded. Infield creeping in. That one just up high. No, it's a called strike.
Hmm.
Very late call there from our home plate umpire, Brian Beck. That's something that I have also noticed a lot too with calling softball games. There's a lot of late calls from the home plate umpire. 0-2 leaves it right down the middle, but called ball. So 1-2 strikes is the count. We'll see if Monica Jones can get out of this hole. Leaves it upstairs. It's 2-2.
See the ball, man. You got this.
No shifts in place. Maybe the outfield playing in just a couple of steps. Here's the 2-2. Got her swinging. Here is Taylor Getzinger, who had an RBI base knock in the second inning. She leaves that one. That one's going to hit the top of the zone for a strike. 1 out in the inning, bases loaded. 1 run has come across the score here for the Vikes. They trail by 7 runs to the Heritage Huskies. Next pitch is crushed into right field. That one's starting to carry, but the catch is made by Harmington. Here comes the tag from Sarah Booth, and she is safe at the plate. And a tag up at second. She is also safe. That's Gaddis. A 2 RBI game for Taylor Getzinger. It is now 11-5 Huskies.
Still a good piece from Getzinger right there. You know, obviously you would rather get a hit and not have a sac fly there, but you know, a run's a run, and if they can just slowly start getting more and more, you know, it might add up.
If Taylor Ulrich is able to get a base hit here, that would be a huge base hit, as it would likely score both runners. Two outs in the inning, runners on second and third. Man, ripped down the third baseline, foul. Now 2 strikes on Ulrich. 2 runs have come across the score here in the 5th for the Vikings. Couple of base knocks. A hit from Sarah Booth, and then a big-time double from Brooke Rose, which scored Lena Zerfus. Here's the 0-2. Lifts it right back out the middle. That's a base knock. Rose will score. Gaddis is being waved home, and she is out. What a throw in from Langdon to get Gaddis out at the plate. No slide from her. She goes in standing, and she is out at the plate. Either way, 1 run comes across to score. It is now 11-6 as we head to the 6th inning from the Crossroads. It has been a wild 5 innings of play from the Crossroads. This is game one of the 7A Eastern Regional Finals between 3 seed Heritage and the 1 seed Conley. 3 runs in the fifth for the Vikes. They're trying to claw their way back in this one. A big day hitting wise for the Huskies. 6, 7, and 8 for the Huskies in this inning. Monica Jones on the mound after Kendall Howard went 3 2/3. That one just low for ball three. Here's the 3-0. Left it off the plate. A 4-pitch walk for Avery Keith. Every batter now for this Husky lineup has reached base. Whether it's through a walk or a base knock, they have all reached base. Very, very efficient work from top to bottom in this lineup, 1 through 9.
Heritage has really done a good job of getting that leadoff batter on first base, finding a way to get 60 feet. It seems like they have done a really good job of not swinging out of the zone much and making them come up or come down.
Go, Nine.
Lydia Bollinger at the dish. She's 2 for 3 today. A couple of base knocks, both of them singles. One of them was an RBI base knock in the fourth. She grounds that one to Sarah Booth. 3 unassisted. The play at second is not in time as a tag would have been needed there for the next out. One out in the inning, but a runner in scoring position now for Tori Rudd. These lefty batters have really, really hurt this Vikings pitching staff today. They don't face a whole lot of lefties, but they have done well so far today. This Heritage lineup. That one's blooped into center field. That one's going to fall for a base knock. No advance from Avery Keith. Cannot tell you how many times I have seen a bloop hit here today, but you'll get them any way you can take them, even if it means a soft contact base hit into the outfield. There's Rebecca Harmoning. She is the 9-hole batter this evening for the Huskies. 1 for 2 is her line. Strikeout swinging, then a base hit and a walk. Runners on first and second. 1 out in the inning. That one is lifted out into center field. Taylor Getzinger, actually, it'll be Kayla Mendel making the grab for out number 2.
Once again, in that situation, if our runner on second base from Heritage would have advanced to third, right there, it would have been a sac fly.
Exactly. Not great awareness out there at second base for Avery Keith, and so the Vikings possibly could be dodging a bullet here in the 6th. However, the lineup is now turning over again. This is the 5th time through the lineup for the Huskies. Janaya Vargas is 3 for 3 today. Only 1 RBI, but all 3 of those base hits for singles, as well as an intentional walk in the 4th. 1-0 is up high. It's 2-0. Is low for ball 3. We'll see if she can locate in the zone here. 3-0 is in there for a strike.
Good shot, Monica. Way to fight. Way to fight, 9.
Would like to give a quick shout out to my broadcasting partner, Josh Rochester, for all the baseball games this season. He calls this one the keyhole pitch, 3-1. That one's off the plate for ball 4. Shania Vargas has reached base in every single one of her plate appearances in this one. For 5 plate appearances. The bases are loaded yet again for the Huskies. 2 outs in the inning, however. Hayden Callahan up to the dish. She has 3 RBIs today.
Go, Monica. You got this, Monica.
Callahan is 1 for 3 today. A couple of flyouts and a base hit. That base knocking the 5th, scored 2 runs. Then the walk in the 4th also pushed a run across. One is low and away. It's 2 balls and 1 strike.
Go, 9.
If Jones can get out of this inning without any runs scored, it's going to be huge for the Vikings.
2-1 in the dirt. There's nowhere to put Hayden Callahan on the bases. She is up 3-1 in this count. Here's a 3-1. That one's lifted out into right field. Caitlin Mindell over to her left, a couple of steps. And how about Monica Jones stranding 3 runners on base? No runs in the inning for Heritage. They still lead 11-6 as we head to the bottom of the inning right here on DHC Game Day. Well, a fresh start here in the 6th, possibly for the Vikings. 1, 2, and 3 due up. Down by 5. We'll see if they can string a couple of base hits, maybe knock the lead down just to a couple of runs. As we're in the last couple of innings in this game 1. First pitch to Anna Rose is in there for a strike. Avery Garrett still out there on the mound. This is her 2nd inning of relief. There is a shot over out of play off to the right side. a bit of a meeting in the circle. I can't quite tell from this angle, Anna, but it seems like the catcher Keith has her sleeves rolled all the way up, or maybe even a cutoff jersey. I don't.
Yes, it does look like she's got him rolled up right now. I did that early on in high school, and then when I got to college, I remember one of my teammates did it at practice, and my coach immediately was like, "Nope, we don't do that here."
Good take there. It's 1-2 to Rose. 1-2 leaves it inside. Wow, what a take
Wow,
there. Two
a
balls and two
very close
strikes is
hit.
now the count, and that was a risky take there, but it pays off for her. 2-2 lifted out of play. Well, the Vikings are absolutely can absolutely paying any amount of runs in one inning. They could easily tie this ball game up in this inning. I've seen them put up 5 spots. I've seen them put up six spots. I've seen them do it multiple times. This offense can definitely just come out of nowhere and start hitting the ball like crazy. Here's the 2-2. Leaves it up and in. The count is full.
Another great take.
Seen a lot of full count at bats for the large majority of this Vikings lineup. Here is another one. This is a big one with no outs in the sixth. Here's the payoff. Leaves it in there for strike three.
Wow. Wow, really late from the umpire right there.
Very late call as Anna Rose was already jogging up the first base line. She thought it was ball four. Either way, that is a strikeout looking for Anna Rose. Harper Bradley in the box now. 1-for-2 is her line. A walk, a single, and a ground out. That base hit in the second scored 2 runs. One 0 will catch the inside part of the zone for a strike. One leaves that one. It's 1-2. Do you feel like this late in the ball game, the at-bats need to be a little bit more aggressive, or should they stay right where they're at?
Man, I don't really know. I feel like our zone is changing a little bit.
That one's grounded right back to the pitcher, Garrett. She flips it over to first for the out.
The Vikings hit Garrett pretty well last inning, so it's really surprising they're at bats here this inning.
3 runs in the fifth. No base runners so far here in the sixth. Here is the power hitter, Lena Zerfis, who is 0 for 2 today. The 1 is in there, and Zerfis is down 0-2. Here's the 0-2. Floats that one off to the right out of play. Very high scoring game for the Heritage Huskies. Vikings are trying to match that one, and she leaves that one off the plate. It's 1-2. Third baseman DeVerna thought it was strike three as she was already headed towards the dugout, but It's 1-2 to Lena Zerfus. Not sure what to say about that pitch. It's 2-2 now.
Once again, it seems like the Garrett's plan right now is to hit that outside corner. It feels like just trying to catch any outside corner that she can.
Here's the 2-2. Leaves it up, and the count runs full. Big time spot for Lena Zerfus. Down 5 in the 6th. 2 outs, bases empty. Here's the payoff. Crushes that into left field. That one's got some running. That one is out of here.
Once again, just like what I was saying earlier, you can be over, but it's what you do during your last at bat to make up for it and go 1-for-3.
Lena Zerfus put a charge into that softball and sent it over the wall in left center field. It is now 11-7. Even though the Vikes are down by 4 runs still, I cannot emphasize how big that home run is, as it just adds to the tally. You're slowly starting to creep back into this ball game. Sarah Booth at the dish now, a very large gap over the second base bag at the moment. Outfield playing back a couple of steps. Center fielder is shifted towards left field by a couple of steps as well. 0-1, foul straight back. That was a big swing there. Just got a little bit of contact on that one. Bases empty, 2 outs. Here's the 0-2. Good take there. Went off speed and left that one low. It's 1-2.
A great take from Booth there. You know, when you get in those 0-2 counts, it's really hard not to kind of freak out and go out of your game plan and swing out of the zone. So
Leaves that one away. It's 2-2.
Go 3-0, win it.
Said it a couple of times now, but just want to keep the line moving. Don't want to do too much here. You don't have to. Here's the 2-2. Fouls it back. One run in the inning. That one came off the bat of Lena Zerfus with the solo shot. Here's the 2-2. Leaves it low for ball 3.
wow, another great take from Booth. You know, those are really iffy. It's really hard not to want to leave those in the umpire's hands.
We've seen a couple of moments like that where the call could go either way. When Lena Zerfus is, Sarah Booth's way that way, and that is lined out into right field, and it is caught for
Wow,
out number 3.
a great catch from the right fielder.
Well, a solo shot off the bat of Lena Zerfus brings the Vikes back down to 4, but the Huskies are still up as we head to the final inning in regulation from the Crossroads. Welcome back. The first game of the 7A Eastern Regional Finals for softball in the state of North Carolina. Conley taking on Heritage from the Crossroads. Cole Martin and Anna Sawyer with you this evening. Look, if you are just tuning in and you haven't tuned in all season, this is your first time tuning in ever on the channel. We have so much more content over on our Instagram at DHC.gameday, all lowercase. We do all of our live streams right here on YouTube, but all of the rest of our content, interviews, hype videos, clips from games, highlights, all of it is over there on our Instagram. So go check it out over there at dhc.gameday. Monica Jones is still out there in the circle. It's 3, 4, and 5 will face her in this 7th inning. Sam Langdon at the plate. Fouls that one off. It's 1-1.
Ball hot, ladies. Heads up. Walk the ball now.
Next pitch is crushed into right field. Caitlin Mendel will come in a couple of steps and makes the grab. Man, tough play there. Couldn't quite get a great read on it, but still makes the grab regardless.
Seems like sometimes with how dark, playing under the lights, some of that can affect your read, but at the end of the day, that's an out.
So here is Gianna DeVerna, and man, what a game she has had here today. A couple of RBIs, but a single and 2 doubles, both of them coming in the 4th inning. She takes ball 1 there. Well, it seemed like we might have had somewhat of a pitcher's duel on our hands through this first 2 innings. It was 3-3, but then an offensive explosion in the 4th inning from Heritage. A 7 spot, and then 3 in the 5th with a response of 3 in the 5th inning from the Vikings, and of course the solo shot in the 6th inning is how we have gotten here. 2-0 is up high. It's 3-0. 3-0 is way over the head of Zerfus in a 4-pitch walk for DeVerna. So here is Avery Garrett, who, of course, is filling in for Scarlett Ellis as after she took over in the circle for her. Garrett is 0 for 1 today with a strikeout swinging.
Go nine.
Hitting wise, she only has a couple of plate appearances this season, with 3 hits in those 8 plate appearances. A 1, not going to quite find the zone. One foul back. Well, runner on first, but 1 out in the inning. If you get the punch out here, force 2 outs in the inning and feeling a little bit more comfortable about yourself heading into the bottom of the inning. Here's the 1-2. Got her swinging.
Wow.
Went off speed, located just off the plate, and got Garrett just to kind of poke at that one and try and wave at it.
That is a great pitch from Jones.
Avery Keith stepping into the box. She is 0 for 3 today. A fly out and 2 strikeouts swinging. Both of those strikeouts came in the fourth inning when the Huskies batted around, sent, I believe, 11 batters to the plate. That one's fouled off to the right side.
Jones has to figure out a way to get ahead in the count so that she can use her changeup and hopefully have more effective and throw them off balance a little bit.
0-1. There was that changeup, but outside. Good take there. It's 1-1.
Go, Monica!
1-1 leaves that one up high. It's 2 balls and a strike.
Go down, win it!
2-1 waves at that one. That changeup, man, I tell you what, it is working really well for Monica Jones. She's been able to place it in just the right spot. Gets the swing and miss there. It's 2-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs in the inning. Leaves that one low. Good block there. Here's the throw down by Zerfus. It is not in time. Harper Bradley there to back up the throw. Well, it looked like she went changeup again right there, but left it just a little too low. That was in the dirt. Good block there by Lena Zerfus. Was not able to get the throw down in time as DeVerna swipes second. Here's the payoff. Got her looking right down the middle. Throws her for a strike 3. This has been a really good relief appearance for Monica Jones, and this is the last call for the Vikings in the bottom of the 7th. A heavily offensive battle between the Huskies and the Vikings. It comes down to the bottom of the 7th inning. Vikes down by 4. Last call for them. Game 1 of 7A Eastern Region Finals for softball. Game 2 will be tomorrow. That's at Heritage. First pitch to Brooke Rose is in there for strike 1. 5, 6, and 7 due up for the Vikings. Brooke Rose is 2 for 2 today, a single and a double. She leaves that one right down the middle for a strike as well. 0-2. Good take there. It's up high.
Conley has got to find a way to get this lead off on first base just to apply some pressure to the Husky defense.
Here's the 1-2. Leaves it low. Another good take there. Now, I am seeing some action over there in the bullpen as that is Scarlett Ellis warming up. I'm a bit confused by that. Here's the 2-2. Lifts that one softly over to run. She makes the flip over in time. Very, very close play there for Brooke Rose. She was hustling to get the first, but the throw beats her.
You know, in those situations, you really wish you had replay in high school ball.
First pitch to Ava Gaddis is up high for ball one. She is 1 for 3 today. A base hit in the first, a very wonky force out from the center fielder, and then another wonky force out in the fifth where she grounded it to shortstop. They tried to go home with it, but Sarah Booth made it back to third in enough time, and also Ava Gaddis was safe on that play. 1-1 will find the top of the zone for strike two. One ball and two strikes is the count to Ava Gaddis. Leaves it just off the plate. Man, that was a very, very close call.
Very close. I feel like considering, you know, the umpire zone, I feel like has expanded a little bit. That one's a little scary to leave in his hands.
We've seen some inconsistency throughout this game. That one's lined sharply back to Rudd, and that one goes off the glove of Garrett on the mound. A mistake there as she reached out to try and grab it, but instead rolls into the outfield for the base knock. Two-hit ball game for Ava Gaddis. Here is Monica Jones. Struck out swinging in the fifth. First pitch to her in there for a strike. And I tell you what, we talked about it before. Heritage very, very aggressive in their at-bats. Not a whole lot of aggressiveness from the Vikings in theirs. They've taken a lot of first pitch strikes. 0-1, that's lifted out into right field. Hammering is charging in and makes the grab for out number two. The Vikings are down to their final out in this ball game. Taylor Getzinger at the dish. She is 1 for 2 today. A couple of RBIs, an RBI base knock in the second, a sac fly in the fifth, as well as a fly out in the fourth. Ava Gaddis on first after her base hit. 2 outs in the inning. Vikes down by 4. 1-0 is low for ball 2. Will find the zone at the knees. Two one lifted foul.
Seems like we've kind of, the Viking girls, they have kind of let themselves get in these holes. They're not really attacking early. It just seems like they keep getting behind and then have to get defensive after that point.
The Vikings are down to their final strike. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Here's the offering. Check swing there. The throw down is not in time. She is safe. The peel down, she did not go around, so the count is full. Well, the pitch was low, so that was not in question, but man, that check swing was a very, very close call. So now with a runner in scoring position standing on second, both umpires will shift over. So now maybe Heritage at a disadvantage if another check swing were to come about with a right-handed batter. We are having a meeting here as Lee Janetti, the head coach of the Huskies, is talking with the home plate umpire, and now he is calling in his other umpires here. They will have a meeting to talk about, was it a check swing? Maybe it wasn't, maybe it was. Well, the count is full. What kind of approach are we going to see here from Taylor Getzinger in this moment?
Man, I'm really hoping anyway right now she can find some way to get on base, find a way to move that runner and just chip away some runs right here.
You will gladly take a walk in this scenario, no matter what, but you can't leave the bat on your shoulder at that.
She just has to trust herself and trust her zone, trust her game right here.
Runner on second, 2 outs. Vikes down by 4 here in the seventh in game one of the Eastern Regional Finals. Here's the payoff to Taylor Getzinger. Lifts that one straight up in the air. Who's going to catch it? It's going to be Vargas, and she makes the catch for out number 3. 11-7 is the final score here in game one of the 7A Eastern Regional Finals for softball. Heritage over Conley. Game two will be tomorrow, but do not go anywhere. Stick right where you're at, right here on DHC Game Day. We'll have a live box score read in just a moment. Well, guys, the final score is 11-7 here from the Crossroads. Man, I mean, such a big time offensive game. from both sides. Hold on, I'm gonna flip the camera around for just a second. It's not focusing completely. All right, there we go. But 11-7 is the final. Huskies over Vikings in this one. Game one of the Eastern Regional Finals. Game two will be tomorrow. That's at Heritage. Game three will be, if necessary, right here at DH Conley if the Vikes win tomorrow. And I just want to get your final thoughts.
Yeah, I just felt like today was really going to be a pitcher's duel, but honestly, it was just pure offense today. And I feel like from the Huskies, it was just really an attack mode and just anything over the plate, they were looking to do damage. And I felt like the Conley Vikings lacked that today. So I'm hoping to see a little bit more aggressiveness and less defensiveness tomorrow.
Absolutely. And they hit every single gap, as we mentioned. They hit things, they hit balls down the line. They hit into the left field and right field gaps. They hit it up the middle. They hit it over the center fielder's head. I mean, they were hitting base hits all over the place. 14 hits for the Huskies, nine for the Vikings. Of course, 11 to score was the final. Two errors for the Huskies. We expected a very clean game defensively. Both teams had over 950 fielding percentage, and that was pretty much the case. A couple of flukes for Heritage, but nothing for the Vikings. 10-8 were the left on base numbers, and then there were a couple of plays for the Vikes where it's like, man, what if they had scored that run in that situation? What if they had gotten that runner on base? What if that call had gone their way? There was a ton of what ifs in this game for the Vikings, and ultimately it did not work out for them, losing by 4 runs. Kendall Howard, not a great day in the circle from her today. 3 and 2/3, 4 hits, sorry, 9 hits, 8 runs, all of them earned, 1 walk, and 5 strikeouts for her. Monica Jones, she had a really good game in relief of her, going 3 and 1/3. Even though she gave up 3 runs, she had gave up 5 hits, 5 walks, which is killer, but 3 strikeouts, a couple of those coming in the seventh inning for Monica. On the other side, Ellis and Garrett were really, really dominant, especially Ellis. But Garrett gave up that solo shot off the bat of Lena Zerfis, which she put a charge into that ball. A couple of base hits sprinkled throughout both lineups. Of course, 14 to 9 is very high hitting numbers for both squads, especially when you get to the regional finals. That's a lot of base hits to come by.
Right. I just felt like today the Husky offense, they just did a good job of capitalizing when it mattered most. I felt like the Conley Vikings really, they had times where the bases were loaded and just couldn't find a hit, couldn't find a hole, and I felt like Heritage just found those holes that the Vikings couldn't today. So ultimately that's just what it comes down to is when it happens. And
Hmm.
yeah,
So 11-7 is the final here. Game two is tomorrow. And listen, pending a loss tomorrow, that means that this will be the final live stream for DHC Game Day for me and for the people that have helped me over these past couple years. Man, I just really, really want to appreciate everyone that has helped. And a thank you.
thank
Thank you to
you.
Josh. Thank you to everyone that has helped this season and the season before that. In my junior year, man, it has been such an amazing time getting to do DHC Game Day stuff, just starting off doing a pregame live stream for 30 minutes for a football game, and just doing all football season. And I didn't even expect it to grow to what it is today. We have racked up thousands upon thousands of views on all of our social media platforms. We topped out at 100 viewers at one point last Friday for the baseball game. And man, I just really, really appreciate all the support that has come our way these past couple of years. It has been such a great time getting to call these games and getting to produce content for you guys. I say it all the time. If I didn't have the support I had right now, I don't know if I'd keep doing it just because, I mean, even though I said originally I was in it just for the experience and the reps, you guys' support has really kept me going and kept me going through all of this. So I really, really appreciate it. And so possibly for the final time, I hope it's not the final time. We might be back here on Friday. We'll see. I'm Cole Martin this evening. Join me was Anna Sawyer. Thank you so much for joining me, Anna.
Of
This
course,
was
thank
a
you.
great call for tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. And as always, go Vikes and God bless.